They say paparazzi is a problem. Um, and he is. His name is Papa, and it's Roxy. Now, I'm confused about whether or not Roxy is actually a boy or a girl. There was a girl named Roxy, and I don't really know why her name was Roxy, really. But there's Papa, and you know Papa from the little boys that do the lizard and basically shit in pans and then leave it out to dry in the sun and then feed it to people as pretty much opium. Yeah, they like we got pictures of it and film of it, and then they shot the news the female or the news reporter, and they shot the cameraman, and they killed everyone at the news station when he found out that what they had posted about him about Popeye and his lizard men, he called them lizard boys or whatever. They would basically spread their legs, and then like I say, they would go and walk above a tray of a tray and basically poop in the tray and then make nice little long runs, and sometimes they would eat some corn, and there'd be a little corn in the stuff to add a little nutrients to it, I guess, or something like that. Anyway, and they would eat the opium. They'd eat so much opium that basically and then they would poop it out, and then he would let it dry, and then he would serve it to people basically, and that was Papa. Um, anyway, so Papa and Roxy got together, I guess, and he was an opium king or whatever. Uh, but I don't think he really had all that much opium because of the fact that he would poop it out, and then they would ship it to America or other places, as basically fertilizer, and then feed it to people because it had some opium content inside of it. So really disgusting. Yeah, he was able to ship it because it was fertilizer. It was considered fertilizer, but it had opium inside of it, and nobody really ever really noticed or cared because it smelled so bad. Then I think he would bake it maybe in the oven to get it dried out even more, and I don't know, and maybe get all the germs out of it. I'm not exactly sure, but he would ship it as just basically dried in the sun poop, and then collect it and then put it in bags, and then they would ship it across the border, and then they would take it and bake it in the oven, and then they would serve it to people. So that's Papa and Roxy. And so he was paying Papa Razzies or Razzies. They're actually called Razzies basically because they go around and harass anybody. They go around how he pays people. He pays for people to be harassed basically. Running up next to them, taking lots of pictures, and just basically he pays people to annoy other people, famous people. Anyway, and then there's also photographers which use long range lenses, but he pays basically to discriminate people or something like that. I guess because his work is already pretty well discriminating. I don't really know. But yeah, he's a problem in the world. Papa always was a problem. He's a black guy, like I say, and walks around. He's connected to Harlem and Wolf and all that group, and basically a real piece of work or a real piece of shit, really. Just like his product. People people would laugh and say, "Well, he's just like his product." A real piece of shit. Um, he pretended to be an opium dealer, but realistically, it's 80% shit and 10% opium or something like that. By the time it gets through the digestive system, anyway, he was selling it like it was real or pure opium or something, or 90% opium. He'd always say it's 90% opium or something like that, but it really wasn't really 90% opium. Anyway, it was digested opium too. So really disgusting. And yeah, so that's basically what Papa and Rotzi was doing, or Ratzi or whatever. Yeah, he changed his name basically. Like I said, he broke in and stole a bunch of. He was making those canes. It's silver canes and they would sharpen the ends on the silver canes. So you'd go around poking people, and they would slap them. He was a guy in Warsaw. He would slap the girls like this, and he'd be like, "Yeah, it's okay," you know, and slap them, and stuff like that. And he was in Warsaw and some of the other towns and cities, and basically over there, he'd just go around slapping people, and he was this old nasty man basically. He got together with the Ford people or whatever to help make it look like Ford was a real company, but they really weren't. Um, Yeah, he had opium. A lot of he had opium connections basically. But basically, black people were helping him or something like that. Really weird. Anyway, you see him wandering around. I mean, he should be dead by now. But basically, he was paying for people to be harassed, pretty much violently harassed, and even put down. But then again, so is JFK and Nixon and the Kennedys. They were doing that too. But they weren't really, like I said, they weren't really Kennedys. They were actually Kennedy had died. All the whole Kennedy family had died in 1920. So they were just like, and it's probable that's Jimmy Carter because, like I said, they stole the watch and then they tried to pawn it, and they put down Carter or whatever, Jimmy Carter or something like that. And there's a bunch of fake names running around, a bunch of fake people. So anyway, and they post things on the TV and stuff like that. Anyway, so yeah, so confusing the world. Anyway, so that's who paparazzi is. Rotzi, because they rot the world or whatever. Anyway, they had this thing. I guess way too many hallucinogens, if you ask me, and way too much LSD. So, yeah, for every good person, there's 10 bad people. It seems. I don't know, or 10 epically bad people. Anyway, he was out there at my Belfast shipyard and some other places, and just wandering around, basically seeing how much he could fuck up or destroy, basically. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you can look them up. Just find out where all the money is going for the paparazzi. They usually actually blackmail people or whatever, and still post a picture. I don't really know. I don't really care. But that's what. But see, there's paparazzi, which is basically, and then they say that they're photographers, but they're not really photographers. They're just people that are paid by Papa to go harass people, and usually drug dealers or drug addicts or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they're bored. Who knows? Anyway, yeah. So anyway, that's going around. That's been going around. It was a problem. So anyway, but then again, so is JFK and Nixon. Whatever.